This is a narrative tangled in deep historical roots, conflicting identities, and the struggle for dignity. The once unified land, marked by centuries of shared traditions, shattered into fragments as communities faced each other anew. Decisions made hastily by distant rulers imposed a legacy of violence and mistrust, reverberating through generations. As unrest swelled and tensions escalated, the simple hope for coexistence began to feel remote. People in Kashmir, yearning for their voices to echo across borders, found themselves ensnared in a battle for recognition, caught in a crossfire of national ambitions and local grievances, seeking solace amid the chaos. Amidst this unsettling history, a new generation in Kashmir stands at a crossroads, yearning for change, yet burdened by a legacy they did not choose. Young voices echo with a mixture of despair and dreams, hopeful for a future where dialogue triumphs over violence. They express a wish for understanding, seeking opportunities to connect with those on the other side of the divide, believing that genuine reconciliation is possible. As they overcome their fears and misconceptions, each story shared becomes a step toward healing, proving that, even in the darkest moments, human connection can light the path to peace. The scars of history weigh heavily on these young hearts, yet their spirits remain resilient. They gather in groups, sharing tales from both sides of the divide, learning to cultivate empathy where division once ruled. In moments of laughter, they reclaim their humanity. In discussions of struggle, they acknowledge their shared pain. Bridges of understanding begin to form, delicate yet promising as they challenge the narratives handed down to them. Each encounter represents a potential shift, a chance to rise above age-old enmities, fostering visions of coexistence rather than conflict. Conversations spark a desire for change, igniting a collective dream of a peaceful tomorrow. As the sun sets over the Himalayas, casting a golden hue over the valley, stories of resilience intertwine with hopes of peace. The youth of Kashmir, burdened by the weight of history, still dare to dream. They gather in secret corners, their conversations a mix of laughter and deep reflection, discussing possibilities beyond borders. Each shared meal, each song sung together on chilly nights, becomes a reminder of their shared humanity, a bond formed through understanding. They envision a future where the wounds of the past start to heal, where empathy and compassion replace animosity. With every whispered hope, they challenge the status quo, believing that a different Kashmir is not just a dream, but a future waiting to unfold. Young Kashmiris navigate this challenging landscape, where the shadows of conflict loom large but do not eclipse their aspirations. They find solace in creativity, using art, music, and poetry as outlets for their emotions, shaping narratives that speak of peace rather than division. Workshops are held secretly, where aspiring artists and musicians collaborate, sharing insights and inspirations from their diverse backgrounds. Each note played, every stroke of paint, imbues their stories with life, forging connections that transcend sanitary boundaries. As they express their hopes through creative means, they uncover shared experiences, transforming their anguish into a tapestry of resilience and unity that resonates beyond the confines of their divided world. With the passage of time, the urgency for peace has grown louder among the youth, echoing in every protest and gathering. They seek not just recognition, but also actionable solutions to pave a path toward harmony. In unexpected places, cafes, community halls, and even social media, conversations unfold, weaving together narratives of hope and resilience. Young Kashmiris refuse to be defined solely by conflict. Instead, they embrace their identities as bridges, carrying stories from both sides that illuminate a shared humanity. The yearning for solidarity becomes a rallying call, as music and art are transformed into powerful instruments of change, resonating across the borders that have isolated them. As the sun rises each day, casting its light over the rugged landscapes of Kashmir, a new wave of hope emerges alongside the persistent shadows of the past. Young activists take to the streets, brandishing signs that reflect dreams of unity and understanding, while artists use their canvases to portray a vision of a shared future. With each movement, they challenge the narratives that have long dictated their reality, reminding themselves and each other that the ties of humanity still bind them together. Through every song, every poem, they weave a story that embraces both tradition and transformation, echoing the longing for a time when peace is not just a fleeting moment, but a lasting commitment to coexistence. The journey of healing is not linear. It often rises and falls like the rugged terrain of Kashmir itself. Young voices emerging from this conflict-ridden valley express their aspirations, not just for personal freedom, but for a collective sense of purpose. They call for a space where dialogue can blossom, where diverse identities are celebrated rather than suppressed. Each story shared becomes a thread in the intricate tapestry of their existence, one that reflects both their struggles and their dreams for a harmonious future. Through art and activism, they strive to bridge the chasms of misunderstanding, igniting sparks of empathy in both their communities and beyond. In this ongoing quest for unity, the echoes of their shared humanity have the potential to reverberate far beyond the borders that divide them, weaving a narrative of hope that might inspire generations to come. A call to action resounds across the valley, where youth gather not just in defiance but in aspiration. They recognize that every brushstroke in art, every lyric sung, carries the potential to shift perceptions, challenge stereotypes, and ignite conversations that cross invisible boundaries. In the shade of ancient trees, stories of laughter and love intertwine with expressions of sorrow and longing, crafting a poignant reminder that they are tethered not only by their pain, but also by their dreams for peace. Each gesture of kindness and understanding adds another layer to the fragile tapestry of their shared existence, illustrating a future where the echoes of conflict fade, replaced by a chorus of unity and hope. In the shadows of these aspirations, however, the challenges remain immense. The voices of youth are often drowned out by political rhetoric that clings to historical resentments and fears. Yet each small act of connection, a joint cultural festival here, a collaborative art project there, fosters an environment where understanding can flourish. As young Kashmiris take tentative steps towards reconciliation, the scars of the past serve as poignant reminders of why their journey is vital. They aim not just for change, but for a narrative shift, where compassion reigns over enmity, and the dream of a peaceful tomorrow becomes a reality within their grasp. Despite the looming shadows of conflict, the dreams of youth in Kashmir shimmer with hope. They envision a life where bridges of understanding replace walls of division, where past grievances transform into a narrative rich with resilience. Each initiative, from open mics to community murals, serves as a powerful testament to their desire for change. Conversations sprinkled with laughter, echoes of creativity threading through the valley. Together, they embrace their identities not as victims of circumstance, but as agents of transformation, planting seeds of possibility amidst the harsh realities of their past. Every act of defiance against silence becomes a note in their symphony of unity, a reminder that peace is a choice, not just a dream. And in doing so, they illuminate a path toward healing, a collective journey rooted in empathy, understanding, and a shared vision for a harmonious Kashmir. As whispers of change ripple through the valley, young Kashmiris increasingly embrace their roles as storytellers, eager to redefine their narrative. They gather not only to share their struggles, but to celebrate their cultural richness, showcasing music and art that resonate with the spirit of togetherness. Workshops emerge, blending traditional motifs with modern influences, creating messages of hope that transcend their geographic confines. With each stroke of a brush or strum of a guitar, they breathe life into dreams of unity, weaving their history into a vibrant tapestry that reflects both their pain and aspirations. Every creation becomes a beacon of possibility, illuminating their path towards a brighter, shared future. In this pursuit, they learn that peace is not merely the absence of conflict, it's a commitment to understanding, a willingness to listen, and an acknowledgement of shared humanity. As the saga of Kashmir continues to unfold, a new dawn beckons, where dreams of peace outshine the darkness of despair. Through courage and creativity, the spirit of reconciliation may flourish, proving that despite the scars of history, hope can bridge even the deepest divides. In unity, a brighter future awaits. The experiences of war had carved deep scars into the hearts of civilians, shaping their perspectives amid the chaos. Families sought solace in what remained of their fractured lives, often clinging to hope and dreams amidst the despair. Communities worked tirelessly to mend broken ties, holding on to conversations that bridged misunderstandings. Through every challenge, the will to survive and thrive continued to emerge. Whether through shared meals or collaborative efforts, the power of resilience shone brightly in the face of adversity. Each interaction became a reminder that, in the end, humanity triumphs over hatred. Shifting the focus from governments to individuals revealed an essential truth. Peace begins with people. Despite the anguish of war, stories of courage emerged, igniting sparks of humanity amidst the rubble. Everyday heroes rose, rescuing neighbors trapped in the chaos, offering food and shelter to those in need. Artists painted murals of hope on once-bombed buildings, transforming scars into symbols of resilience. School children organized peace rallies, their laughter defiant against the backdrop of sorrow. These moments fostered community spirit, reminding all that healing is a gradual journey, marked by unity and kindness. Slowly, as the dust settled, a shared vision for a peaceful future emerged, igniting an enduring commitment to rebuilding lives, relationships, and trust. Yet despite the efforts for peace, shadows of mistrust lingered, obscuring the path to reconciliation. A cycle of blame took hold as political leaders capitalized on fears to consolidate power, further deepening divides. Propaganda flooded the airwaves, often overshadowing the voices of those yearning for harmony. Families who had once thrived together now found themselves divided, with barriers emerging where openness had flourished. One thought lingered in the hearts of many. Reconciliation required more than mere words. It demanded courage and the collective will to confront painful histories together. As time passed, These aspirations echoed quietly, calling for healing, understanding, and a commitment to forge bonds anew. The scars of conflict often manifested not only in physical forms, but also in the hearts and minds of the people. Children grew up hearing stories of war woven into their very fabric, shaping their identities amidst lingering shadows. In countless homes, the echoes of lost loved ones remained. Yet as the future unfolded, communities sought ways to redefine their narratives, pivoting from victimhood to agency. Voices of marginalization began to rise, demanding acknowledgement and inclusion in the larger conversation of peace. Through dialogue and shared experiences, these advocates aimed to dismantle barriers, fostering environments where empathy could flourish. Trust, however, remained a fragile construct, as many grappled with deep-seated fears of repeating the past. Progress demanded not just courage, but unwavering commitment from every sector of society. Only together could they pave the way for a renewed hope, one fueled by understanding, compassion, and the tenacity to confront challenges head-on. Yet as communities rallied to mend their broken ties, external forces often threatened to undo the progress made. Media hysterics intensified, painting rosy pictures of peace one moment and inciting fears of resurgence the next. Politicians found themselves caught in a relentless cycle of populism, where hawkish rhetoric often overshadowed heartfelt calls for understanding. Amid these tensions, dialogues emerged not just in summit halls, but at grassroots levels, where everyday people sought to reclaim their narratives and reshape perceptions. It became increasingly clear that peace was not merely the absence of conflict. It required proactive engagement, ongoing conversations, and meaningful exchanges that fostered real change. Moments of dialogue slowly became more frequent, painting a picture of possibility amidst the uncertainty. The road to peace, however, was never linear. Each step forward seemed countered by two steps back, as incidences of violence lurked like specters, ready to pounce on moments of optimism. Threats emerged both from within and beyond borders as extremist groups leveraged historical grievances, twisting narratives to fuel further discord. India and Pakistan found themselves ensnared in a web of mutual suspicion, where the past was a constant adversary overshadowing aspirations for cooperation. Yet within this tumultuous landscape, grassroots movements advocated for dialogue, seeking to forge connections that transcended entrenched boundaries. The desire for harmony reverberated through communities, igniting initiatives that prioritized understanding over animosity and empathy over hostility. Amidst the backdrop of armed conflict and political machinations, moments arose that attempted to bridge the divide. Sports events became a rare refuge, a shared language where athletes from both nations competed with grit and determination. These contests, though often marred by off-field tensions, laid the groundwork for camaraderie. In stadiums filled with cheering fans, the spirit of competition momentarily eclipsed the weight of history, reminding everyone that the essence of being human transcended borders. Conversations sparked between fans and players alike, creating ripples that, however small, challenged the narrative of enmity. Yet as excitement ebbed, the reality of mistrust returned, casting long shadows over the fleeting bonds formed in the thrill of the game. A new chapter was beginning in the dance of diplomacy, and yet within it lay an intricate web of complexities. Leaders were often caught between promises made in public and the harsh realities that awaited them back home. Each meeting carried the weight of expectations, yet the specter of unhealed wounds haunted every handshake. As initiatives emerged, skepticism lingered, often stifling the very movements intended to foster peace. The cries for understanding grew louder, reverberating not just from the capitals but also from the hearts of ordinary people yearning for connection. With cautious optimism, individuals sought dialogues in their communities, where trust could germinate slowly, inch by inch, amidst the ruins of prior conflicts. Amid the recurring cycles of hope and despair, symbols of resilience emerged within communities as a reminder of shared humanity. People transformed remnants of their past, turning conflict zones into spaces for healing and togetherness. Art, music, and grassroots movements began to flourish, weaving narratives that celebrated unity over division. In engaging local leaders, citizens stood firm against divisive rhetoric, advocating for mutual respect and understanding. Each successful initiative lit a spark, inspiring others to join the pursuit of peace. As the foundations of dialogue strengthened, the prospect of reconciliation grew clearer, offering a glimpse of what a harmonious future might hold, even amid lingering doubts. The era of political hostilities continued to present challenges, often overshadowing the flickers of hope ignited by individuals and communities. Yet amidst the struggles, moments of potential reconnection emerged. Initiatives sprang forth, aiming to foster dialogue through cultural exchanges that honored shared histories. These gatherings allowed people to share their stories and break down the barriers forged by years of conflict, paving pathways to understanding. Each interaction held promise, revealing that beneath the weight of animosity, the desire for peace persisted, a quiet but resolute echo across borders. Though skepticism remained a frequent companion, the resilience of human spirit pushed forward, searching for opportunities to build bridges that could withstand the storms of mistrust. The quest for peace, while fraught with challenges, is often illuminated by the very efforts of those who refuse to let their histories dictate their futures. Ordinary citizens, armed with resilience and a shared vision, have the power to reshape narratives and foster understanding across boundaries. By embracing dialogue over hostility and empathy over bitterness, a renewed collective identity can emerge, one that transcends borders, histories, and grievances. Through patience, understanding, and the courage to confront the past, the dream of lasting harmony may yet become a tangible reality, guiding the next generation towards a future rooted in unity. The air crackled with anticipation as the newest initiatives aimed at fostering dialogue began to take shape. Leaders approached these discussions with a blend of caution and hopeful determination, recognizing that trust was delicate yet essential. Grassroots organizations dedicated to peaceful resolution launched programs that brought together youth from both nations, promoting collaboration through shared interests such as sports, cultural festivals, and joint educational endeavors. These exchanges provided a fertile ground for friendship, allowing young people to see beyond borders and biases, forging connections that transcended the prevailing narratives of animosity. Meanwhile, allied with these grassroots movements, international NGOs and community activists urged leaders to commit to sustainable peace, advocating for continued efforts in diplomacy and engagement. As bridges were built one conversation at a time, the spirit of cooperation began to replace the echoes of conflict, suggesting that the path to healing, while fraught with challenges, was still within reach. As young people began to find common ground, the ripple effects of these initiatives reached older generations, sparking renewed conversations about shared histories and the potential for mutual understanding. Families started to discuss their varied experiences, some recounting tales of friendship, while others conveyed heart-wrenching losses. In these exchanges, a deeper empathy began to grow, allowing both sides to humanize each other beyond the labels defined by conflict. Community leaders organized public forums where individuals could voice their hopes and fears, fostering an environment where dialogue took precedence over discord. Slowly but surely, the perception of the other transformed, leading to a collective recognition that each individual carried their own burdens and stories that deserved to be heard. Through this process, the seeds of reconciliation were sown, nurturing bonds that resisted the storms of history. In this evolving landscape, politicians recognize the significance of nurturing these grassroots movements, understanding that their survival depended on promoting messages of unity rather than division. With every initiative celebrated, the possibility for healing transcended political divides, allowing citizens to reclaim their narratives. Community projects blossomed in many forms: artwork, educational exchanges, and dialogues that honored diverse histories while envisioning a shared future. As trust began to take root, the emphasis shifted, focusing more on human stories rather than historical grievances. Hope whispered through the crowds, hinting at a collective journey toward reconciliation, underscoring that amidst the shadows, light could indeed be found if one dared to seek it together. The challenges of sustaining this peace fabric were evident as both societies grappled with past grievances. Government policies often fell short of addressing deep-rooted concerns, fueling frustration and skepticism among citizens who yearn for genuine change. Nevertheless, small victories emerged from tireless advocacy and community-led initiatives. Workshops and seminars blossomed, giving voice to the stories that had long been suppressed, fostering empathy across divides. Individuals ventured beyond their comfort zones, sharing meals and traditions, immersing themselves in each other's realities. Healing moments were punctuated by the recognition that understanding one's history, including the painful parts, was crucial in navigating a shared future. As hope revitalized conversations, the aura of collaboration began to weave through local efforts, proving that enduring change often sprouts from the ground up. This vibrant tapestry of dialogue emphasized that lasting peace requires consistency, patience, and a dedicated commitment from every corner of society. The need for genuine dialogue emerged as a pivotal theme in this endeavor, with leaders finally acknowledging the power of listening. Initiatives began to focus on creating safe spaces where individuals could express their fears and desires without judgment. Communities organized storytelling sessions, allowing people to share not just their struggles, but also their dreams for a better tomorrow. As these narratives unfolded, the barriers that once divided began to crumble, revealing shared aspirations for peace and stability. The realization dawned that only through understanding could healing truly commence, inspiring collective action that transcended the chasms of distrust loomed large. With every story shared, hope ignited, urging all to envision a future where enmity gave way to friendship. As discussions unfolded, it became increasingly evident that the journey toward peace required relentless dedication. Leaders, citizens, and advocates found themselves navigating a maze of historical grievances, yet they recognized that true reconciliation was a collective responsibility. Each encounter, whether in person or through broader initiatives, sought to spotlight not just the wounds of the past, but also the potential for shared futures, woven together by understanding and mutual respect. As borders blur in the quest for peace, collective efforts continue to remind us that while the path may be fraught with challenges, the human spirit yearns for understanding and connection. With every shared story, we inch closer to a future where hope triumphs over fear and reconciliation shines bright. In the shadows of the line of control, the struggle for peace plays out day by day as families strive for a semblance of normalcy amid the chaos. Each dawn brings hope that perhaps today will be different. A day without the sound of gunfire, where children can step outside without fear clinging to their hearts. But each sunset often reveals unmet hopes. The elusive promise of solace hangs like a fragile thread, reminding all that while hope is unyielding, reality is often much harsher. In the villages, life is a delicate dance of resilience and uncertainty. Mothers gather their children, explaining the weight of silence, as if it were a lesson in survival. They weave stories of laughter and love amidst the ever-looming shadow of conflict. These narratives breathe life into the walls of their homes, a reminder that joy can thrive even in adversity, yet the specter of violence always looms, sharpening their instincts and deepening their scars. Hope flickers like a candle in a storm, lighting paths through darkness while carrying the burden of past losses. Yet as the sun sets over these war-torn landscapes, a collective yearning stirs within the hearts of the people. They long for more than just survival. They crave a future where laughter can echo freely and dreams are nurtured rather than buried. Every smile exchanged between neighbors, every shared meal strengthens the bonds of humanity, proving that even in the face of despair, connections can flourish. The stories of resilience, friendship, and community weave together, painting a tapestry that transcends borders, urging the world to recognize the real cost of conflict, a cost far heavier than mere statistics. It is the toll on the human spirit, on hope itself, and the understanding that every day holds the potential for change. In this complex tapestry of grief and resilience, stories emerge that transcend the harsh realities of division. The children who gather in their makeshift schools learn not only the subject matter, but also the importance of compassion and understanding. Their laughter, though tinged with apprehension, pierces through the heaviness of their surroundings. This generation, influenced by shared experiences across the divide, sees themselves not as adversaries, but as potential allies in crafting a different narrative. Every interaction, whether a shared game or exchanged smile, plants a seed of hope for reconciliation. As the world watches this unfolding story of courage, it becomes increasingly clear. The bond between these communities is a testament to the enduring human spirit that flourishes despite adversity. The dreams they dare to dream are not only for themselves, but for a peaceful future that lies beyond the borders of conflict, ready to be realized. Amidst the whispers of a longing for peace, local leaders begin to emerge, stepping forward to bridge the gap between divided communities. They gather in secret, shunning the shadows of animosity as they discuss common goals and shared aspirations. Their dialogues, though hesitant at first, are fueled by a deep desire for understanding, fostering a spirit of collaboration that had once felt impossible. Slowly, initiatives blossom. Community gardens flourish in shared spaces, where children from both sides come together to learn and grow, discovering the beauty of cooperation amidst the harshness of their reality. This growing movement of unity sparks hope, turning simple gestures into symbols of resilience, reminding everyone that beyond political borders, it is the human connection that truly counts. As these initiatives take root, stories of unlikely friendships begin to emerge. A boy named Ali from one side of the border, who once viewed the people across the line of control as strangers, finds camaraderie with a girl named Aisha through a shared project. They cultivate the same garden, their laughter mingling with the scent of soil and blooms as they learn from one another. Their families, initially skeptical, start to see the benefits, tangible proof that cooperation can pave the way to understanding. Conversations blossom, initially awkward but gradually warming, where fears give way to shared experiences and dreams for brighter tomorrows. Ali and Aisha become not just friends, but symbols of a potential future where children of both nations can grow without the shackles of inherited animosity. As seasons change, so too does the landscape of their lives, punctuated by the colors of hope and the promise of peace. In moments filled with uncertainty, the children play, their laughter echoing across the garden, weaving a narrative rich with collaboration. As they plant seeds side by side, an unspoken bond forms a promise to nurture the future together. Nearby, mothers exchange glances, their hearts swelling with a sense of possibility, recognizing that this simple act of planting is a rebellion against the silence of conflict. They share stories amidst the rows of blooming flowers, recounting tales passed down through generations of resilience and strength. Each flower represents a dream, a whispered hope that resonates deeply within their spirits, revealing that in unity, they can cultivate something beautiful. However, the road ahead is laden with challenges. As their friendships blossom, lingering fears and historical grievances threaten to resurface. The shadows of doubt loom large over the garden, reminding them that growing together is not without risks. Parents whisper their worries, unsure of what this coexistence might mean for their children. How can they let go of decades of division, of narratives that have been handed down like heirlooms? The question hangs in the air, heavy and unspoken. Yet amidst the tension, the laughter of Ali and Aisha becomes a beacon of hope, illuminating the possibility of change. They are willing to ask their families to step into the light of understanding, to transcend the barriers built by fear and resentment. Each shared meal they have, each story told under the vast sky, chips away at the walls that have long separated them. As they navigate this fragile journey of connection, they remind one another that their bond isn't just about merging two worlds, it's about healing a shared past. Together, they dream of a tomorrow where the echoes of their laughter drown out gunfire, and where, hand in hand, they sow the seeds of a lasting peace. Yet as the seasons shift, so too does the narrative. Grassroots movements, born from the bonds formed in that garden, begin to gain momentum. Meetings escalate from small gatherings in shadowed corners to larger assemblies, where voices across the line of control unite in one shared purpose: to rewrite a story that has been marred by division for far too long. The gardens become a retreat, a sanctuary for healing where cultures intertwine and neighbors unfold stories of their shared humanity. These moments, filled with laughter and echoed dreams of tomorrow, ripple outwards, inspiring a wave of change that even the most entrenched beliefs cannot ignore. Through art, music, and storytelling, the visions of Ali and Aisha transcend borders, establishing a rhythm of hope that embraces possibility rather than fear. It is a gradual journey, one of discovery, but they stand ready to nurture it a testament to the power of connection, proving that even amidst conflict, the seeds of understanding can take root and flourish beautifully. In the face of historical animosities, the budding friendship between Ali and Aisha serves as a beacon that lights a path through the shadows of their past. Each day, their laughter echoes in the garden, creating an atmosphere where joy entwines with hope, fostering a sense of community that transcends borders. Their families begin to soften, encouraged by the innocence of youth that challenges long-held beliefs, prompting dialogues about unity that once seemed impossible. Moments of shared celebrations take place, where the vibrant colors of cultural festivals blend seamlessly, reminding everyone involved of the richness that comes from diversity. Conversations flow easily, and as stories interlace, a newfound sense of identity emerges, one that embraces both their backgrounds while recognizing their shared humanity. Together, they begin to envision a future where each child sees the other not as a rival, but as a partner in a journey towards collective healing and growth. The dreams that take root in this garden symbolize a budding movement, one that challenges the notion of separation and lays the groundwork for reconciliation. With each passing day, the garden becomes a tapestry, not just of flowers, but of memories and moments that echo a deeper truth. The fears that once divided their families begin to surface less often, replaced by a gentle curiosity as they witness the joy blossoming between their children. Neighbors share recipes across the fence, laughter spilling over as they discover similarities in traditions and tastes. The harvest brought smiles as they unite to celebrate the fruits of their shared labor, each sharing stories that deepen their connections. Aisha's mother brings a sweet traditional dish, while Ali's father contributes a savory delicacy, blending flavors that symbolize both cultures. It's in these simple acts of sharing that walls built over generations start to crumble, allowing the seeds of change to flourish into a vibrant community. Through this collective spirit, the dreams of peace grow louder, fostering hope that lingers in the air, inviting all to imagine a reality where friendship thrives and once rigid borders fade into mere lines on a map, redefined by humanity's enduring bonds. As the garden flourishes, the children of Ali and Aisha become ambassadors of hope, teaching their families the value of mutual respect and understanding. They organize small gatherings where laughter intertwines with the aroma of shared meals, encouraging their parents to join in the celebration of diversity. Each event becomes a testament to their growing friendship, an unyielding force challenging inherited animosities and reinforcing the belief that joy can thrive in the unlikeliest of places. The lines that once marked division begin to blur, creating a landscape where future generations can run freely, unburdened by history. With each passing day, they sow the seeds for a brighter tomorrow, nurturing connections rooted in compassion, trust, and a shared vision of peace. The village, now alive with laughter and camaraderie, stands as a testament to their journey. With each bloom in the garden, a tale unfolds of overcoming odds, of planting hopes where animosities once thrived. As Ali and Aisha's families grow closer, stories woven into vibrant fabric illustrate that healing is possible. In this blossoming community, The transformative power of unity shapes dreams of a peaceful future, reminding all that from seeds of understanding springs the potential for a harmony that transcends the boundaries etched in their past. The story of India and Pakistan is far from over. It continues to unfold in the nurturing soil of connection and understanding. Each gesture of friendship, every shared laughter, creates ripples of change that challenge the narratives of division. As the children plant their dreams, they sow the possibility of a world that embraces unity over discord, reminding us all that a journey toward peace, though fraught with complexity, is always within reach. The seeds of hope they cultivate today could transform tomorrow into a canvas painted with compassion and collaboration, where harmony prevails.